戦争は変わった。一つの時代が終わり、俺たちの戦争は終わった。
War has changed. It's no longer about nations, ideologies, or ethnicity. It's an endless series of proxy battles fought by mercenaries and machines. War and its consumption of life has become a well-oiled machine. War has changed. Verified soldiers carry algorithmic arms, manipulate social influence, AI enhance and regulate their timelines. Memetic control, information control, emotion control, battlefield control. Everything is monitored and kept under control. War has changed. The age of deterrence has become the age of control, all in the name of averting catastrophe from weapons of mass destruction. And he who controls the battlefield controls history. War has changed. And when the battlefield is under total control, war becomes routine.
Think outside the cage.
The world is getting crazier. People are acting more and more insane. The end of the world is tomorrow. Tomorrow. There's only one thing to do when the world is falling apart. Listen to Basil and Gonz as they discuss this week's news and events through the lens of Bible prophecy.
You are listening to Canary Crime News Tour.
You're listening to Canary Crime News Talk. Today is January 26, 2026. We are live to tape on episode 910. And today, it's the Discombobulator disclosure, everyone. And signing on from Off the Grid, Razzle Dazzle. I'm your best buddy, Basil, and you are not crazy.
And my name is Gonz, at Face Like the Sun, director of the Age of Deceit films and author of Archetypalism, your favorite Asian provocateur for Christ. Live to tape from the metaverse to bring you the best news, which is the gospel message of Jesus Christ, while reporting the egregious with a well-rounded, biblically grounded take on world events. It's Monday.
Gary, what day is it? Monday.
And just a real quick prayer requests for my family. They're all sick. They're got the stuffy noses and the whole thing. I think the nanobots are in the sinuses right now. So,
oh no.
Just a quick relief prayer there. Also, today happens to be, according to the Canary Cry calendar, the 4-year anniversary, Basil, of when you were kidnapped in the metaverse, episode 438. Do you remember
yes.
kidnapped in the metaverse?
I do remember. I used to do the show from a different sort of metaverse, I guess, platform on Steam where, yeah, I had to be in a room, and in the middle of the show, for some reason, still don't know what happened, I was teleported to somebody else's room, which was like a creepy recreation of like a, not a haunted house, but maybe like a flop house, like a junkie house. And there were random, and then I got teleported to a pirate ship, or it was the Titanic, I think.
Yeah, yes. You were on the Titanic. You were on the tip of the Titanic, and I don't know what was going on there, but yeah.
It was very bizarre. I have no idea how it happened, but thankfully I'm on a more professional setup now. Wow. The good old days, Gonz, when we were in the wild west of the, what was that? Must have been 2021, 2022, something like that.
4 years ago, so yeah, 2022.
Oh, it was creepy. Well, yeah. I'm here now, and that's what matters.
Yep, you're here. That's what matters. And should we jump right into it? Because it's things are resetting, Basil. The entire world is resetting. Just as Klaus told us.
We need a great reset.
Learn to use the dark side of the Force.
I just wanted to start off by mentioning the price of silver and gold in dollars. CNBC here, and this is like a paywalled CNBC article, so you got to be CNBC Pro to even get the actual news. They just tease you with the headline. Silver just broke another record. Here's what's driving the precious metals' new price surge. wouldn't you like to know, why is the price of gold and silver surging like never before in history? Why does it look like a meme coin, Basil?
I have
What's
my own
going on?
theories, but I can't wait to hear the official story.
Well, the official story is behind a paywall, so we don't get to know the official story. Only people who pay for CNBC Pro get the official story. So what
Oh.
is your theory?
Well, I mean, of course, it's the destruction of the current financial system, the
US dollar.
yes, the US dollar, but also US financial assets, and it's the fear of the rich running to physical I guess treasures, not treasures that they stored up in heaven, but treasures here on earth where moth and rust may destroy. And it's only a matter of time. We need stable coins, Gons. We need CBDCs. It's the only
Yeah,
thing that can save us.
Yeah, they can't roll out the CBDC unless they roll it back into a gold asset reserve type of situation. There's a few charts showing how the world's central banks and institutions and everybody, their reserve assets, gold has now surpassed the US dollar for the first time, I think, in however many decades or whatever. So it's official now. There's more people around, more institutions and central banks holding gold as a reserve asset than the US dollar, which is not a good sign for the US dollar. But also, just to put it in perspective, Basil, our national debt, our US national debt is about $39 trillion, right? It just keeps going up. The market cap of gold alone went up a little over a third of that in just a year. So between gold and silver, we're almost at half the national debt of dollars moving into those assets in a year, Basil. So maybe this is what Trump was talking about, the golden age, It's like literal gold.
I'm kicking myself too because, of course, January of 2025 is when we first noticed all the major gold reserves being transported from places like the Vatican, the Bank of London, getting transported back to the United States. And we go, oh, maybe something's going to happen with gold. Maybe if we were smart, we'd do something with gold. And here it goes. It took a year, but it's finally delivering on those promises.
Well, thankfully, everybody who got a supply drop a couple months ago, they're up, so that's
true.
nice.
That's true.
Yeah, I mean, we've been talking about this forever. Age of Deceit 1, the first one, Fallen Angels in the New World Order. I have that clip of Ron Paul, I think it was Ron Paul at the time, calling out how fiat is worthless when they went off the gold standard in 1971. So these are things that have been known for decades, but it's playing out for the first. It is kind of crazy to have a front row seat with these economic shifts, because it's truly, before it was all talk that this would happen or something like this would happen, but we're here. We're actually in this moment where everybody's fleeing to precious metals because all the wealthy folks don't know what's going to go on. They're probably, maybe they do know what's going on. They know that the whole rails of finances are going to be upgraded, so they gotta flee to precious metals and then
They're just
start
holding
over.
on. They're holding on to the gold until the stable coins get made, and then they can borrow against those stable coins 3 times as much as they could for fiat currency. So
Yeah, and then it'll
temporary.
be
It's temporary.
Yeah, right. And then in 2045, they'll go off the gold standard again, and then the cycle repeats. So
Well,
rinse and repeat.
the one thing's for sure is that the day that you and I go, okay, let's buy some gold, that'll be the day that everybody goes, gold's over, get out of gold, go buy this. So we kind of have a little bit of control over the situation, because we know for a fact the second we make a move on that, it'll turn around pretty quick. But just another one of the, we've had some fun. Everybody who's kind of been waking up over the past 5 years, they kind of get a front row seat. They didn't have to wait as long as so many of us, but it's nice to see on the very long list of things conspiracy theorists were right about. This might be the most major, it might be the most certainly rewarding for some bunker dwellers with their hoards of silver or whatever. But it's kind of fun. This show is basically filled with more conspiracy theories come true. It's just kind of the world we live in now.
Yep. And the streets of the New Jerusalem will be gold. So there's that. That's where it's ultimately going to head. But in the meantime,
it's for rebuilding, Mara Gaza.
Yeah. We got to rebuild Mara Gaza. We got to rebuild Ukraine. We're gonna upgrade Greenland and Venezuela with some new, Stargate technology. We got a lot of work to do. We gotta get all the precious metals. We got a lot of building to do. BlackRock's on it. Bill Gates is on it. Michael Bloomberg. The whole crew. They're like, hey, we're here now. It's time. It's time to flip the switch on. Let's get the fourth industrial revolution moving.
Covered it last week during the Davos presentations, but Jared Kushner did give a presentation, a slideshow at Davos about Mara Gaza and the whole plan there. And, he basically did say that they were going to pave the streets in gold. So,
good. So
another instance in which Jared Kushner fits, some of the characteristics of the Book of Revelation.
You think the guy who said this?
My generation is hopefully with the advances in science, the first generation to live forever, or the last generation that's going to die.
Yeah, they're not going to die. They're going to live forever, and they're going to walk the streets of gold in Mara Gaza. This is prophetic, Basil. This is biblical, buddy.
The guy who owned 666 Tower over there in New York. The whole thing.
So. Oh, he sold it though. Come on. And then I think they changed the number of the building too.
They did.
Bad PR. Yeah, nobody wanted 666.
Turned it to 665 and a quarter. Something like that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, what else you got, Guns?
Okay. Well, let's see. Speaking of being early on some topics, Basil, we have a NEPHILIM update to kick things off.
NEPHILIM update.
And a World War III thing. And of course, the new age.
We will launch a new age.
It's all happening. It's all coming together. It all makes sense. It didn't for years, but now it does. This is according to Mediaite. I like this headline here in the story. The headline is White House posts AI slop of Trump and a penguin in Greenland, which doesn't have penguins.
Oh, got him. Got him. That's it. The walls are closing in. The bomb's about to drop on Trump. It's taken this long. He's survived so many attacks by his enemies on the left and the right and the front and the back. But finally, we've got something. We can take him down. There are no penguins in Greenland.
On Friday, the White House official X account posted an AI-generated image of President Donald Trump walking toward Greenland's flag, hand in hand or wing, with an American flag touting penguin, even though penguins do not live in Greenland and are found almost exclusively in the Southern Hemisphere. Propaganda from Yahoo and Mediaite right there. Embrace the penguin, reads the post's caption. And yes, White House. The White House. Who would have thought, Basil, was this on your bingo card? For this year or any year in our lifetime that Trump
might as well have been. At this point, anything we have ever said before is technically on the bingo card. I do take umbrage with the description of this as AI slop. I don't know if
that is the trend. Slop. Yes, that is the derogatory term for anything generated by AI right now is AI slop. All the hoity-toity folks see AI video and it's all AI slop everywhere, and
I do protest. I think it exists.
I don't think
that
it's slop.
Good AI does exist, but of course, because it's Trump, they got to call it slop. And he's not even implying that there are penguins there in Greenland. If you look at the image, it's Trump standing next to a penguin. They're walking through a snowy field. The penguin is holding an American flag. Off in the distance, you see snowy mountains. There's a Greenland flag posted on the snowy mountains. So what really is happening is Trump is inviting or bringing American Nephilim penguins to Greenland. There's nothing here that says that the penguins were there before Trump arrived. Okay.
Well,
now the United States does have claims down in Antarctica where there are penguins. So what I think is really being communicated here is that Trump is rescuing refugee penguins from down in Antarctica and rehoming them in Greenland. And I think it's a beautiful thing. He's a loving, caring man who cares about the alien Nephilim hybrid penguins that have been hunted for ages down in Antarctica and giving them refuge up in Greenland, a new pseudo-American territory.
So for those of you watching, we're showing some, I think it's some Sir Dove artwork of the Nephilim penguin. We've been talking about the Nephilim penguins for a long time.
Somebody had requested art because they wanted to get
a tattoo. That's right.
Tattoo. So
I hope that person got the tattoo, because this is their moment right here. Look at the White House is posting a photo with the president holding hands with the penguin. This is it. This is why he wanted the tattoo. His credibility is going through the roof, Basil. I can't even handle it. So the meme that all of these penguin pictures are based off of, it's called the nihilist penguin. Have you heard about this, Basil? The nihilist penguin?
No.
Okay, so the nihilist penguin, it's some documentary.
Yes. Okay. Yes, I remember. But yes, tell this.
Right. So yeah. It became a meme. So it was footage of this one penguin that had left the flock and, was walking towards the icy mountains. And it was like this very sort of ominous image of this lonely penguin facing these mountains. And
his
so, of course, everyone
friends he was walking with, who were walking from a breeding ground to the feeding beach, and he was walking with a couple friends. He turns away from his friends and starts walking off into the distance towards the mountains. His little penguin friends notice that he's walking away, run over to try to get him and call him back to going to the feeding grounds. But then he does not follow them. He just walks intrepidly off into the distance where everything is unknown. Safety is not assured. His mating grounds, his feeding grounds. He's adventuring off into the great unknown. Very American story.
So the implications then that Trump in the United States, this lone nihilist penguin, is holding the American flag, would suggest that this is a rebel penguin. This is not a penguin or a Nephilim penguin. Not a Nephilim penguin going along with the crowd with the rest of the Nephilim agenda over there, down there in Antarctica, but are rebelling, exposing the corruption. And so hand in hand with Trump as we conquer Greenland. Or perhaps
he's a CIA penguin undercover, and he needs to go meet his handler, or perhaps his alien Nephilim overlords, like those spaceships, the egg-shaped spaceships that they found in Antarctica that there's footage of.
That's right.
He was going to rendezvous with his, Nephilim penguin overlords, and who knows? But I mean, Trump's there to help him, so
Yeah.
But that's not the only penguin. This was not.
No. This is a trend.
Event.
This is a trend. This is a trend across all of the official government accounts on X, at the very least. We have the U.S. Homeland Security news account. It's got the gray, or this is a blue check mark. I guess I thought this was it's a commentary account. I thought this was the official account.
Ooh.
I was trying to dig up the official. So maybe
I've got some official ones in there. I added.
I know you do, but did you this particular one you wanted with the multiple military arms holding the penguin walking across the ice there? I was looking for the origin of that one.
Oh, interesting. Okay, well, yeah,
and I saw that it was the news, the mainstream news published that it was Pete Hegseth who first posted this image, but I could not verify that. I was on his page and I couldn't find the actual image, and so this is what I came across. But yeah, everyone's picking up on the meme. One of my favorites is actually coming from the official Department of War CTO account. That one has the official government gray check mark. And it says, "Embrace American industry, embrace the penguin." And it's got the penguin meme, the same thing, the lonely nihilist penguin. But before the mountains is a giant sign that says "The Arsenal of Freedom," and a huge industrial building with an army of drones flying overhead. This is a little more dystopic than I think what they were going for, but here it is. I mean, I guess you can't complain too much that the government is posting memes, but
I did add one more in there on the list, Gons.
Okay.
The official Doge Twitter account, the US Doge service, had a AI animation. They put a little bit more. They went over to Sora and they say snow resists movement, red tape resists change, engineers push through both, join us in making government technology great again. And it's an AI video of what is presumably a team of Doge guys, 4 of them, running off towards what looks to be a bureaucratic building in the middle of the icy wasteland. And behind them is running the NEPHILIM penguin carrying the American flag and the Doge dog teaming up to go go where no auditors have gone before. Hopefully that's actually the Greenland Federal Reserve, still waiting for that. Yeah, this is a powerful psyop. The NEPHILIM penguin, again, in the long history, and maybe if you're a little newer to the show, maybe this isn't hitting as hard, but for the long timers, the old schoolers, this is one in a myriad of cases where even the most random, obscure, silly, nonsensical theories that we come up with on this show, these random little obsessions and humor we get, even those become reality in just a matter of time.
Aren't aren't people going back to the moon this week or something too? Like,
I don't know if it's this week too, but NASA was very upset. NASA came out and they said they were very upset that people are not making a bigger deal that they're going to the moon very soon.
Yeah, so they might find some worms while they're up there, and then we got to who's going to have the NEPHILIM penguin and the wormicorn on the moon as a list of things that they covered over the years. Okay, so back to the government accounts here. The Department of War CTO account also posted this a few days ago. Precision at the speed of light. The Scaled Directed Energy, SCADE CTA, is driving the Department of War's push to scale directed energy across the fighting force. And that brings us to the story, Basil, about the lasers.
Lasers.
Yes, this is the Dallas Express mirrored on Yahoo. Oh, did I forget something?
Nope. I'm just catching up. I'm seeing what. Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
We'll get there.
Yeah. All right. So we have the headline here. Department of War confirms plans to scale directed energy weapons. The Department of War has confirmed plans to expand the use of, quote, directed energy weapons. Undersecretary of War Research and Engineering confirmed on January 23rd that it is further developing these weapons. This follows guards reporting a, quote, sonic weapon during the American raid to capture former Venezuelan director Nicolas Maduro. Quote, I just read the quote, the tweet there, but this is a different one. Yes, the Department of War has directed energy weapons. Yes, we are scaling them. The official posted, the office posted on X, and that's the other tweet, I guess, the official Twitter, or no, I guess X post, which is a big graphic in bold red letters, light speed lethality, directed energy dominant, and it's got like I don't know, those directed, I don't know, like an R2D2 looking thing. Yeah,
well, it's a building with the big laser dome on top, and they're shooting the laser into the sky there. Very ominous, very bold. Now, we've been watching this series of events this month where, of course, Venezuela happens, and then slowly over a couple of weeks come the testimony by the alleged Venezuelan security guard or something who was there, and he's talking about how, everybody dropped to their knees and we started barfing, and they had some
quotes.
We don't even want to fight America anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it says here, quote, suddenly I felt like my head was exploding from the inside. We all started bleeding from the nose. Some were vomiting. We fell to the ground, unable to move, a guard reportedly said. So yeah, even this article is quoting this very intense sound wave weapon that was deployed in Venezuela. In 2018, National Defense Strategy spelled out the development of, quote, directed energy, according to the Department of War website. The department called for proposals about the technology in 2021. And, we've played the clip of Donald Rumsfeld post 9/11. This is 2001. I believe it was it might have still been September 2001. Maybe it was a few months before. I forget what it was, but he was being asked about these laser weapons, and he kind of had this uncomfortable, we're working on him. That was kind of his take. Like they're not ready to deploy, but we're researching them or something. I forget the exact quote, but that was 2001. So we're talking 25 years ago. It's about time they release some of the weapons, but I'm sure that's part of the whole reset, Basil, is that these weapons need to come out for not just good American sentiment for the Americans, the patriotism. We need some new technology to really get us going emotionally as a country, but also because this brings up some there's geopolitical strategy, but also, in my opinion, this brings into question the upgrade that might be necessary for the Second Amendment. We'll get to some of that later. But any thoughts on the actual directed energy weapon announcement, Basil?
I wonder because of, yes, the very slow non-disclosure sort of rollout over the past many years, but we've been hearing more about it recently. I mean, even though the guy said it in 2021, like the entire world of being a skeptic or a truth or a conspiracy theorist or whatever, up until very recently, it did not matter how many government officials confirmed the conspiracy theory. You were still sort of disavowed as a crazy person, and this goes for New World Order, George Bush talking about the New World Order, Al Gore talking about no, you're just crazy. They're just saying whatever. There's quite a few great New World Order confirmations recently. But, of course, directed energy weapons going all the way back to the Nazis and there's story after story about this as a deep compendium of sort of truth or knowledge about the directed energy weapons. And like so many things, I mean, the timing of disclosure of directed energy weapons at the same time as the gold, as the same time as the stable coins, at the same time as the all the UN Davos, it's just like another brick in the wall of this full perception
Another brick
transformation.
In the wall.
Yeah. And it feels like
don't need more. Sorry.
Even with their post here, it has an air of okay, you got us. Yes, the Department of War has directed energy weapons. Yes, we are scaling them. We can't hide it anymore. Whether it's sort of planned or not, whether the Venezuelan security guard was legit or not, or just a psyop to give the impression, give the reason for this kind of disclosure. All those things could be true, but it's very interesting how the timing of all of this rolling out could not be more perfect.
We've, because of our position of where we sit on the watchtower, metaphorically watching this stuff show up, and then it's like we saw it coming over the hill, and then now we warned about it, and now it's like just inside. It's inside the walls now. You think about the last few years, and you got the Havana syndrome, and of course the talks about these weapons have been around in conspiracy rabbit holes for decades. But it's officially legit. It's out there. It's real, not just because the government said it, but because, Basil, Directed Energy Weapons Research Report 2026, $32.5 billion market opportunities, trends, competitive landscape, strategies, and forecasts. Basil, the directed energy weapons market is only at 7 billion. It's already at 7 billion, but it's it's going to go up to 32 billion.
This is what we've always said. It's when the money comes, that's when it's real. That is when disclosure comes. When the money, the financial aspect, the investment opportunities, once that is all set and put in place, that's when disclosure happens. So we should consider, what kind of economic opportunities would come for, disclosure of aliens or whatever. And that's
that's what the Bank of England are talking, or the former analyst at Bank of England is bringing up.
I mean, that's exactly the thing. This has always been part of the, canary cry theory of everything, is it doesn't matter what it is. It could be the most crazy, most obscure, conspiracy theory, or technology, or blah, 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 whatever it is. But once the financial asset part is in place, that's when disclosure happens. And you're right. We just got that story about the Bank of London or Bank of England, I forget which one, having to prepare financially for alien disclosure. I think that is the first clue that,
We're
the
moving in that
financial
direction.
rails are getting
What is
set in
it?
place.
What's going to be the benefit play though? I can only think of Polymarket, because otherwise, unless you're, what are the aliens investing in?
Well,
We got to find out where the aliens are storing their value. Maybe that's the
very
goal.
simple. It's what companies have been hiding the aliens. If you go like,
That's true.
Raytheon, it's okay, it's
Yeah.
disclosure. Raytheon has had the alien technology and they've been, back engineering it, or, any one of these kinds of companies. Could be GE, it could be General Electric, took custody of one of the crash sites, and the government transferred it to their warehouse, and now they have mini fusion reactors. Better go invest in GE or whatever it is.
I'm looking at Lockheed Martin here.
Very straightforward, very clear.
I'm looking at Lockheed Martin. It's so fascinating. I don't have it as a public receipt, but those who have been around know it, just because I've been talking about this for a while, for 12 years now. The book that I wrote and never published, The Cosmic Endgame, Secret Civilizations, Space Weapons, and the Antichrist War Machine. And the longer subtitle was How a Hidden System of Finance is Funding Secret Space Programs, Resulting in a Breakaway Civilization who are weaponizing outer space for the purpose of unveiling the Antichrist reign and to combat the return of Jesus Christ. So there you go.
Why don't you just click
that's my
publish
receipt.
on that?
I mean, I can. I don't know. I might publish some sections, because
No, this is perfect, because we could be like, the never before published, written in 15 years ago, never seen the light of day, but finally, they can't keep him down any longer. But the book is coming out.
The government has now confirmed. That might be the game too. Is like, I'll publish it and then be like, hey, just everybody make a list of all the things the official government accounts have verified in documenting a whole bunch of this stuff. Which, interestingly enough, at the time, one of the things here, part 3, is about the airship mystery, and specifically Del Shao, the painter and like notebook drawer, I guess, drew like these airships, these alleged airships from 150 years ago, and one of them is called the Trump airship. And I didn't realize it at the time, but I even mentioned the name Trump in the thing. This is 2013, 2014, before Trump's presidency. So yeah, I don't know. There's little tidbits in there, I'm sure, that have been since either more verified, or maybe the rabbit hole is a little deeper or something like that. So all in good, all praise the Lord. Give thanks to the Lord for giving us the eyes to see and ears to hear and see what's going on around the world. But
what does this report say? Who are we? Do they give stock tickers? Who are we investing in for directed energy?
Let's see. You can request a copy from the Astute Analytica, the DOW market. It's official. It's called the DOW market, D.E.W. And let's see. Russia's got some stuff. Yada yada yada.
They don't give away the tickers. You gotta.
Yeah, you gotta like sign
there. There was some helmet. Yeah.
Oh, no, these are like different types of lasers. So there's the Hell laser, the high energy laser tech. And there's the solid state lasers. Yeah, I don't think these are tickers. But yeah, I mean, we'll report some tickers. Oh, look at Thor. They got Thor. Thor was one of the Rod of God, was also known as the Rod of Thor, was one of the weapons that the United States has. It's the tungsten rod that's supposed to like shoot through the earth and go down like a mile or something like that.
I never heard of the Thor acronym for it, but interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, we'll report it, maybe in an email or something. Sign up to the email, sign up to the email address, and we'll give you tickers.
So
stock tickers, not financial advice.
Here's the thing, and this is interesting. You found some.
Well, these are directed energy weapons market major players, and Raytheon, Northrop Grumman. I mean, it's all the usual suspects.
All the ones you'd expect.
Lockheed Martin, yeah, Boeing,
Honeywell International. That's interesting.
Oh,
Honeywell makes like kitchen equipment, I think.
Hey, listen, everyone cooking food in the kitchen will be part of this next war.
So I think what's
makes
very
sense.
interesting with this directed energy weapon disclosure thing is I think we might be able to map out at least today's administration, I guess, roadmap for disclosure. And it might give us some insight into, further disclosures on various different things. I guess if we're just going to do the roadmap off the top of our head here, there's sort of an unofficial disclosure. There's a current event or a geopolitical event or a military operation, right? That's super duper successful, unusually so, ahistorically successful, like the Venezuela one was, right? So you go, ooh and ah, wow, that's incredible. I can't believe they pulled it off. Whoa, that's crazy. Whether you like it or not, it's amazing that, we've never seen anything like it. And then there comes the report from the defeated enemy that says, oh my gosh, I don't know what happened. We've never seen this tech before. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And then, they let the conspiracy theorists kind of go with it for a little bit, get stoked. Eventually some things pop up in the mainstream. You're just about that sort of guy, disclosure or whatever, from somebody boots on the ground, right? I think it's important that it comes from somebody boots on the ground, because it feels more like a discovery, like an organic, oh my gosh, thing. So it can't start necessarily with the thing. And then comes the Twitter post from, the thing said, yes, okay, it's true. But there might be a piece in between that. And that is the sort of colloquial, I can't say anything, but I said it instance from Trump, because I had mentioned last show, but it wasn't very, it's just kind of in passing. It was a funny moment when Trump was at Davos and he's, bragging. And here's a little clip. People remember this clip here.
Weeks ago, they saw weapons that nobody ever heard of. They weren't able to fire one shot at us. They said, what happened? Everything was discombobulated. They said, we've got them in our sights. Press the trigger, and nothing happened. No anti-aircraft missiles went up. There was one that went up about 30 feet and crashed down right next to the people that sent it. Weeks ago, they saw a weapon nobody ever heard of.
This sort of bragging from Trump, right? This little... But it's kind of cute, right? He says, oh, they were discombobulated. We got these weapons that discombobulated everybody. And of course, everybody in the know goes, oh my gosh, he's talking about directed energy weapons. Okay, that's crazy. Now, a couple days ago, this was before the Homeland, whoever it was, the Department of War. Saying, yes, okay, we have DEWs. This was a couple of days ago on January 24th. New York Post had an exclusive here that says Trump reveals to the Post secret discombobulator weapon was crucial to Venezuelan raid on Maduro. Now, he uses that phrase, they were discombobulated at Davos, which again is pretty, I don't know if sinister is the right word, but to just kind of throw out this cute
throw it out there
for a super, space weapon, discombobulate. But he gave this interview with New York Post, and he talks about the discombobulator. It says President Trump told the Post that a secret new weapon he calls the discombobulator was essential to the daring U.S. raid that captured Venezuela's drug-dealing dictator Nicolas Maduro. Trump boasted that the mysterious weapon, quote, made enemy equipment not work when U.S. helicopters swooped into Caracas on January 3rd to arrest Maduro and his wife, Celia Flores, on federal drug and weapons charges without losing a single American life. Quote, the discombobulator. I'm not allowed to talk about it, Trump said during an exclusive interview in the Oval Office.
Oh, man.
Well, I would love to, the president added before confirming its use in the stealth operation. Quote, They never got their rockets off. They had Russian and Chinese rockets. They never got one off. We came in, they pressed buttons, nothing worked. They were all set for us. Trump commented on the weapon when asked about reports this month that the Biden administration purchased a pulsed energy device suspected of being the type that caused Havana syndrome. That revelation, now this is interesting because this was kind of flew under the radar, but maybe as part of the roadmap, because it was this month. Well, it was this month that it was revealed that actually during all the Havana syndrome stuff, which we're really early on, that Biden secretly purchased one of these weapons on the black market for like millions of dollars. So the revelation that they've actually had the Havana syndrome weapon for many years, you know, all the while the mainstream is trying to tell us it's crickets, you know, it's hypersonic crickets or whatever. That revelation followed on the ground accounts from Venezuela describing how Maduro's gunmen were brought to their knees, bleeding through the nose and vomiting blood. The self-identified member of the deposed strongman's team of guards recounted afterwards that suddenly all our radar systems shut down without any explanation. And we already know this testimony, so I'm going to skip the rest of it there. And that's kind of the end of that. So he's officially now, not just off the cuff, talking about, oh, they were discombobulated, saying it to other world leaders at Davos, but now he's actually calling it the discombobulator, which is cute. And, you know, this is interesting, just looking at the timing of the whole disclosure, right? Admitting that there is a weapon or a category of weapons that he can't tell you about, not going to do it, as if nobody already knows what he's talking about, but giving it this kind of cutesy name. Because why did they keep D.E.W's secret for so long? Well, for the public, and you can compare this to other possible disclosures like the aliens, you know, to the public, it's very frightening to think that your government has secret space weapons, deadly weapons, but not just deadly ones. The ones that the public maybe should be rightly, or at least would be more terrified of, are the things like crowd control weapons, the non-kinetic weapons that the possibility of the government using it against American citizens is the most terrifying, you know, whether it be protests or whether it be some sort of militia action or something, or maybe not even that, but the terror that would kind of flow through the public at the thought that, oh my gosh, our government's keeping secret weapons from us that can make us all throw up blood and bleed from our nose without even shooting a single bullet. You gotta put a cutesy name on it. I think it's part of the plan. You got to call it the discombobulator so you can kind of disclose it, but also avoid the self-conscious terror that would come from the public. Now, this is happening at the same time of what we're seeing in Minnesota, and we'll get into Minnesota in a moment. But you look at the timing of all of this, starting all the way back from Venezuela and the roadmap to the 24th, which is, was the 24th the date of Alex Peretti's shooting? 1 second.
It was a few days ago.
This would be an interesting Alex Peretti.
If you know, there's a show called Phineas and Ferb. And there's a character named Dr. Doofenshmirtz. And the joke is that every one of his inventions has a suffix innator, like it's whatever it is, innator, you know, like time travel innator or something. That's what this sounds like, the discombobulator. It's like they just used the word discombobulator, added a innator to it, and then they just
exactly. And Trump, who's like the master of what you would think is like childish, cartoonish branding, you know, everything he does. Even the Board of Peace, you know, is kind of corny. The Gulf of America, you know, kind of unnecessary. unnecessary. Maragaza, obviously ridiculous, but very effective because,
Very
he's a
effective,
chaos
everyone
magician
talks
and it
about it.
always works for him somehow. So it's very Trumpian to call it the discombobulator. And he gives this disclosure on the 24th, which is a couple days after the shooting of Alex Peretti in Minnesota. So by the 24th, the actions, the organized, what some call, insurrection, possible insurrection, the organized kind of militancy of Minnesota protesters really got into full swing. And that's when you throw out the discombobulator. Very cute, very non-threatening, but at the same time, at the exact moment that it is very threatening to hordes of Minnesota lunatics who are beating ICE people, standing out in the street with weapons, the Minnesota thing getting very, very hot. So it is fairly threatening in the sort of charming, cartoonish way that Trump often does to reveal, hey, we don't actually even need to use kinetic weapons on Americans. We have things that you could have only dreamed of, maybe a year ago or something like that. So the timing with Minnesota, I think, is very interesting. Unless you have anything to add to that, I think is a good time to cover some of the things going on in Minnesota over the weekend.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to touch on just a couple scriptures to kind of ground this a little bit, because there's something to be said about weapon and warfare and all this kind of stuff. And we'll start a little bit not vast, but like broad, and then I'll scale it in. It's just 4 scriptures here. This one starts off Psalm 33, starting in verse 16. No king is saved by his vast army. No warrior is delivered by his great strength. A horse is a vain hope for salvation. Even its great strength cannot save. So just a reminder that, we got these weapons and stuff, but that is not pertinent to our salvation. And then you go to 2 Corinthians chapter 10 and the 3rd verse there. For though we live in the flesh, we do not wage war according to the flesh. The weapons of our warfare are not the weapons of the flesh. Instead, they have divine power to demolish strongholds. And it goes into demolishing arguments and whatnot. So there's that spiritual battle. We got to always remember this is a spiritual battle. But more specific to some weaponry language in the Old Testament, there's a lot. I just picked a couple here. But you got Habakkuk 3, verse 11. Sun and moon stood still in their places at the flash of your flying arrows, at the brightness of your shining spear. There's a lot of, weapon-ish talk when it comes to God and his judgment.
Yeah.
And the moon and the sun standing still, are we going to have that this year? August, right? Supposedly gravity is going to stop for 7 seconds. And, maybe they're getting ready for the laser beam to try to deflect God's divine arrows or something while the gravity stops. And then we have Psalm 18. The Lord thundered from heaven. The voice of the Most High resounded. Hailstones and coals of fire. He shot his arrows and scattered the foes. He hurled lightning and routed them. So, yeah, it sounds like an energy weapon to me. I don't know. He's hurling lightning around, Basil. So let's just remember who's actually in charge of the power of reality. It's not the government, although they're trying. They're really trying hard.
Through technology, trying to mimic the powers of God to become gods themselves. It is the technological or technocratic promise.
Absolutely.
So with that, just to check here, you had asked about NASA going to the moon. They're saying that they're scheduled to launch as early as February 6th. So
that's what I'm saying. It's coming up in like a week or something. People they're because nobody cares. So that's what I'm saying. This year we might get the Wormicorn confirmation. We already got NEPHILIM penguin. I mean, that'll be quite. How's our bingo card doing? We got to pull up that bingo card.
I know. I was looking at it before. Okay, so Minnesota, things are heating up. A lot happened over the weekend. So just for some brief summary for people, we've had, of course, on the 21st, a fellow named Alex Peretti was shot by ICE. Of course, this immediately exploded the response by Minnesotans. We're not going to go over the video and try to, get in there frame by frame to say, did he have the gun? Was he holding the gun? Did he not hold the gun? I think that's just kind of podcast industrial complex fodder, because the fact of the matter, for anyone who has any knowledge, any education, any certification or licensing when it comes to concealed carry with a weapon, it doesn't matter. Even if you are permitted to carry a weapon, the second you're fighting with police, you have lost your protections as far as your permitting. It's just the fact of the matter. It's very sad. I'm not saying I'm stoked that this happened. The second you put yourself in a position where you are fighting cops, in obstructing law enforcement, any protections that your CCW, that your permit, any of that, that made you, so confident that you could carry a weapon, it's just right there. Anybody who's ever even spent 5 minutes actually looking up these laws or going through the training knows that it does not matter if you're certified, does not matter if you have a license. Once you start to get in a confrontation from police, you lose the protections from that license and permit. So it does not matter whether he pulled it, doesn't matter whether he didn't pull it. There's also some very interesting breakdowns on the type of gun which he used, which is a SIG P30, P320, I believe. They have SIG, so annoying. They name all their guns like very similar letters. I think it was the SIG P320, which, again, for gun people out there, you will recognize in the past few years, lots of lawsuits, lots of problems with that weapon, firing without the trigger being pulled. And so is it possible his gun fired even without pulling the trigger? It's all possible. But the fact of the matter is those details do not matter. By the letter of the law, what happened is just what's going to happen when you get in a fight with police and you are armed. So very sad, but we don't need to go through the whole thing. Now, this spurred off, of course, lots of violent reactions from the protesters. The left suddenly now is a huge advocate for the Second Amendment, calling to arm themselves. Lots of guys with rifles and tactical gear, leftists standing out in the streets. Hilariously, some of these leftists sort of blatantly putting themselves in the target of the ATF by obviously having short-barreled rifles with things on short-barreled rifles that shouldn't be there. It's all very entertaining when you see the left coming out in defense of 2A. But one of the biggest things that happened was Cam Higby, the independent journalist there over on X and other places, was able to infiltrate the signal groups of the protesters. And maybe you can't even call them protesters anymore. And there are some very concerning details. I'm going to start by reading this from Newsmax, and then we'll fill in any gaps that are there. Cam Higby's Signal Gate potentially ties unrest to Minnesota Democrats. At least 2 Democrat Minnesota state officials and former campaign advisor to Governor Tim Walz, Amanda Kohler, have allegedly been identified as admins and dispatchers in a leaked Signal group chat used to track and impede federal immigration operations in the state, the Gateway Pundit reported Sunday. This activity was highlighted during an investigation by conservative independent journalist Cam Higby, who wrote on X, "I have infiltrated organizational signal groups all around Minneapolis with the sole intention of tracking down federal agents and impeding/assaulting/ and obstructing them. Each area of the city has a signal or several signals. Just a reminder for those who need reminding, Signal is an application with allegedly encrypted and protected chat functions. It's also got group chats and sort of a Zoom, video chat function. But
that was remember Tucker Carlson was compromised because of it, or not because of it, but like people, he was all freaking out because they knew his Signal messages.
Well, and that's the hilarious thing too, because everybody sort of who's not a leftist who pays attention to events would know over the past few years that Signal is not as secure as people think it is. Like it's
more compromised.
It's hilarious because everybody on the right, or at least just not on the left, is very aware that Signal is not as safe as people assume it is. But that's what you get when you just watch MSNBC or CNN or something. You don't get those details. But Higbee also shared videos showing individuals he said were members of the groups. Some have speculated that an admin identified as Flan on Signal is Minnesota Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan, which would link the group chat to the state government. Wisconsin GOP Representative Derek Van Orden called reports of Flanagan's involvement, quote, an actual insurrection, while Utah Senator Mike Lee asked on social media, quote, what are the odds that the Minneapolis insurrection is being fueled by federal funding? Signal is a private messaging app known for its end-to-end encryption, which is designed to keep conversations private. Higbee continued in an extensive thread writing, quote, a new group chat for each zone is made each day. The chats are dated and deleted at the end of each day. This is likely to avoid detection, record keeping, and consequences. This comes amid the fatal shooting of Alex Peretti, and it goes into that story there. It ends with, according to DHS, ICE law enforcement officers now face a more than 1,300% increase in assaults, 3,200% increase in vehicular attacks, and an 8,000% increase in death threats. You know, you put things in statistical percentage terms, you can get some pretty high numbers. That's true. So in these chats, was not just chats necessarily, but what Cam Higbee, I can't say his name, Higbee, found was that they were making various documents available. They had manuals available in these chats to teach people how to stock ICE, how to report ICE. There were license plate identification things, sort of services in there, where he at least allegedly discovered that they had access to state level license plate databases, which would suggest that somebody within the Minnesota government, gave them access to state level license plate databases, which is pretty sketchy. Allegedly found several members that he is at least alleging, I guess we're saying alleging a lot today, to be various Democrat politicians who were in these groups and even giving instructions or participating. There's a couple of videos where he listened in on their dispatch calls. There's just like open dispatch channels where you can hear a dispatcher telling people where to go to get in front of ICE, to chase them down, to do these things. So a pretty significant infrastructure for these, they would call themselves protesters, to do some pretty sketchy stuff. I mean, running license plate databases, tracking, doxing people. And of course, as a result of all this, we've seen video after video of, protesters showing up, breaking into hotels, destroying property, fighting hotel managers because allegedly there's ICE people staying in the building, destruction of property, rental cars, lots of videos of just regular citizens living their lives in Minnesota, getting harassed and pulled over by, again, random people and getting yelled at and assaulted because they just assume or think, or maybe whatever. For some reason, it's really causing this huge thing. But the level of planning, the level of access to data, and the level of organization is pretty astounding. And right now, it looks as if the obvious situation is that it's not just a bunch of random protesters. Of course, we are aware, there's funding documents available in some of these chats that lead back to like Canadian billionaires, that lead back to NGOs. Some of these NGOs have connections to receiving federal funds or state funds. So it's looking more and more like there's a possible, not just, citizen response, but a mixture between NGO funding, state level politicians being in these groups and directing things, and also what seems to be unauthorized access to state level databases, which is kind of giving people a pretty clear idea that this is basically the furthest thing from a organic movement, which is pretty intense. You have anything, you see anything about that I missed?
I think you did a great job summarizing it. I tried to not pay attention too much to the details, just because when things like this break, first it breaks my heart because it's the situation, but then when you start looking at all the details and things surrounding it, it's always troubling. And right now in Minnesota, man, would you rather be in California or Minnesota right now? It's kind of a toss-up at the moment.
I'd probably avoid both at this point. Now, along with all this, we have, clip after clip of Waltz and other Minnesota state politicians saying, keep doing it, put your body on the line. We got to fight ICE, literally calling for violence. One thing that was on the edge, because of course the possibility of Trump activating the Insurrection Act has always been floating there. Oh yeah, I forgot I had this clip. Let's play this clip here. This just gives us a little bit more of an official report. This was from Real America's Voice. So what's this guy's name?
Steve Bannon?
Steve Bannon. This is Steve Bannon's show. This guy came on and just give a little bit of additional information. We can watch it real quick. It's just a couple minutes.
This is domestic terrorism, and it's operating as a low-intensity insurgency. We've been watching this and just kind of astounded how there's always, these people blowing the whistles wherever ICE is, and they have different undercover vehicles. They try and keep a low profile. For some reason, they keep getting spotted. But James O'Keefe was just up there in Minneapolis and had his life directly threatened. He got a text from a number, said, "We know you're in X car with this license plate from Florida. If you don't leave within an hour, you're dead." That is insane. That is not only terrorism, but it's showcasing that they have access to license plate identification. They have access to people's cell phones. They have operatives within the police departments or the state government that are providing them with this private secure data. And that shows that this is a top-down insurgency operation. And we saw yesterday, it was all over X, some great accounts, 0 Hour and Cam Higbee showed the signal chats, right? And so you've got 1,000 people in these chats every day. They have organized emojis to mean certain symbols. They have protocols, they have training manuals, and then they also have financing documents. And there's a great tweet from, I think, Data Republican showing that there's actually foreign funding from Canada, a guy named Unchaffed or Unchuffed, his organization in Canada. So this has foreign funding. This has state level involvement. The lieutenant governor was found in there. Multiple state representatives and city councilors were found in those signal chats. That is sedition, Steve. If this stuff is leading to violence, to people's deaths, that's insurrection, that's sedition, that's felony murder, that's conspiracy. There is a whole host of charges that members of Tim Walz's staff and campaign staff are involved with. And it is no surprise that they're doing this once their fraud machine was found. It's a pure diversion play, and President Trump has to stay on the offense and take this down, because if he doesn't, and I think he will, but if he doesn't, it will spread to other cities.
There you go. So there's the Steve Bannon.
That's DC Drano. Yeah, it's DC Drano. I didn't know that's what he looked like. Never really seen him before. Yeah, I've seen his account on X.
So there you go. Some very strong, I guess, analysis there from anybody taking a look at it. Now, it's interesting because, of course, we while this is all happening, we have this weird cat and mouse game going on between Trump threatening the Insurrection Act, not pulling it. A lot of people saying he should be pulling the Insurrection Act, but he's sort of letting things, you know, go a little bit further. Of course, if he was going to go so far as to call the Insurrection Act and federalize the National Guard, you know, of course, that's when he's the real fascist and he's the real Nazi. And, you know, he seems to be holding off the best he can, showing some pretty significant restraint, some people think. But at the same time, Governor Walz did end up moving a number of National Guard troops into the city. Now, he made a point specifically stating that, oh, I'm bringing in the Minnesota National Guard to protect the protesters. This is not for, you know, ICE operations or whatever. He's just coming to help you protesters. And, you know, it's interesting. He has moved the National Guard in, which makes me wonder what could be going on in the background. Here's a video, some of the things that the National Guard are doing. People were passing this one around. He mentioned specifically that to avoid confusion, the National Guard will be wearing the yellow sort of emergency vests, so people do not confuse them with ICE or law enforcement.
Yeah, so you don't.
So they don't
lot
get murdered.
guy. Yeah,
so they don't get run over by a car, or they don't get, you know, attacked by the protesters.
Yeah.
He's like, no, they'll be wearing these yellow vests. They're there to help you. They're on your side, protesters. And which, of course, a lot of people are pretty freaked out about. But we have this video here of the National Guard. They are allegedly here in Minnesota. They're all wearing their yellow emergency vests, and they're doing some really important National Guard work, handing out coffee and donuts to the protesters. I don't think there's any important sound on this, but you do see.
Okay, they're standing around. It looks like a parking attendant meeting.
Yeah, they're passing out donuts. You got some protesters around, some cameras.
Those Krispy Kreme. This is a Krispy Kreme ad. This is a native ad for Krispy Kreme. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Which looks silly and sounds silly. Part of me wonders if maybe he's found a way to station National Guard in the city, make them not so spooky, say that they're on the protesters' side, but now that they're stationed and they're on the ground, you know, turnkey, that could change at any moment. I mean, at the moment that Trump does call the Insurrection Act and he federalizes the National Guard, they've already built up a rapport. They've got their yellow vests on. The protesters think they're on their side. It's just an interesting staging. Like, you know, sometimes we'll see staging of National Guard in Washington, D.C. for sort of, you know, kind of benign reasons or whatever. It's just kind of a weird vibe, but who knows? They're there to help.
They're there to help. They look like parking attendants, to be honest with you. The yellow vests make them look very innocent and not at all like some kind of militant operation.
Yeah, they're very friendly. Very friendly.
So how did they get? What happened here? What was Trump's tactic to get?
Well,
Governor
so
Walz?
again, go to timing. Today's show's all about timing. Okay, So bring it all the way back to the discombobulator. You know, you had the protests ramping up, getting violent, armed protesters arming themselves, suddenly huge fans of the Insurrection Act. I'm sorry, suddenly huge fans of the Second Amendment. It was a couple days later, Trump says, we got the discombobulators. We love them. This obviously sends a message to anybody paying attention, like, oh, they would not hesitate to, use discombobulating weapons for crowd control, and it's much better than using kinetic weapons. And there's been all sorts of back and forths about whether riot control can even use bean bags or pepper spray balls or anything like that. So far, I've not heard anything about whether they can use, microwave nosebleed guns on a crowd or something. But these things are kind of being put in place. And now, at the same time that the signal chats expose that this entire, resistance operation goes much deeper than just wine moms who have some extra time on their hand. Very organized, includes lots of, concerning individuals, showing that this is much more than an organic movement, and it's actually state level organizing with state level resources. And then, the National Guard gets moved in, and just a day after this happens, this story comes out from Fox News. Trump deploys border czar Tom Homan to Minnesota as ICE operations face violent chaos. This is from Fox News here. I love the idea of Tom Homan being deployed like some sort of super soldier. We're sending in Captain America, which there was a lot of hullabaloo recently. I did not know this before. I think it's kind of strange. Maybe we did cover it, but I just don't remember. Tom Homan actually was given an award. He was given like a Medal of Honor from Barack Obama because he worked in the administration with Barack Obama, who famously deported more people than any other president.
Yeah, there's a famous clip going around of Obama talking about how he's, not a dictator, but he's got to follow that. There's laws.
Yeah, he's not right. His excuse for being such a good deporter.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So Fox News says this: President Trump is sending border czar Tom Homan to Minnesota. The president announced Monday. Trump said Homan will report directly to me and will help lead the immigration and customs enforcement operations in Minneapolis and St. Paul. The Justice Department and Congress are also investigating Ilhan Omar, Democrat from Minnesota. Trump says, I am sending Tom Homan to Minnesota tonight. He has not been involved in that area, but knows and likes many of the people there. Tom is tough but fair and will report directly to me, Trump wrote on his Truth Social platform. Quote, separately, a major investigation is going on with respect to the massive $20 billion plus welfare fraud that has taken place in Minnesota. And it was very smart of Trump to bring this back up because it's often left out of the Minnesota resists, coverage, is that at the same time that apparently state representatives are organizing a militant resistance of the federal government, of course, the Somali fraud thing is ongoing. And investigations have opened. Charges are getting ready to be laid at the feet of Waltz and others. And it's quite obvious that, allegedly, it's quite obvious that the state politicians are ramping up the chaos to either distract or perhaps gain some leverage in the fact that they quite possibly could be in big trouble for, the billions of dollars of fraud. The tweet goes on, and is at least partially responsible for the violent organized protests going on in the streets, he continued. Additionally, the DOJ and Congress are looking at Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, who left Somalia with nothing and is now reportedly worth more than $44 million. Time will tell all, he added.
The American dream. American dream right there. Look at that.
You gotta love Trump. It doesn't matter what the numbers are. Every time he brings up numbers on anything, they always get higher and higher. First, she had $30 million. Now it's $44 million.
Well, maybe it's adjusted for inflation. You know, it's like
could be.
Yeah.
No matter what numbers he's talking about, they always get higher every time he mentions it. Homeland's deployment comes amid widespread unrest in the Twin Cities, and then it gets into some of the details with Alex Peretti and such. So deploying super soldier Tom Homan, in the process, this was actually announced by the White House this morning at 5:41 a.m. We do have a tweet from the White House here. I'm not going to read it because it's the exact thing that we just read in this document. But you'll notice the timestamp, 5:41 a.m. this morning. Now, at, let's see, 8:56 this morning, just a couple hours after the
Pacific
announcement.
time, by the way. This is Pacific Standard Time.
Sure,
yeah.
In just a couple hours later, the White House made another announcement, and it says here, it's got a tweet from Trump's Truth Social here, and Governor Tim Walz called me. Oh, this is how it always goes, by the way. Talking about timelines, it happened with Greenland, it happens with Venezuela. You know, Trump is escalating things, escalating, sends in whoever he needs to send in, and suddenly he's getting phone calls. You know, suddenly the king of Denmark is calling him to talk about Greenland. Suddenly, everybody wants to call and make friends. Governor Tim Walz called me with the request to work together with respect to Minnesota. It was a very good call, and we actually seem to be on a similar wavelength. It's almost the exact phrases he used with previous texts. Like, we're actually on the same team. It happened with Mamdani as well, after the Mamdani election.
Yeah, the New York mayor. New York.
He called, and we're on the same wavelength. We all want the same stuff.
Trump seems to be on the wavelength with a lot of people. He must be very. He's the whole spectrum. He doesn't matter where you are.
Yeah, people seem to see things from his perspective after a few days.
The goons get in first and warn them. Yeah, the whole thing.
I told Governor Walz that I would have Tom Homan call him, and that what we are looking for are any and all criminals that they have in their possession. The governor very respectfully understood that and will be speaking to him in the near future. He was happy that Tom Homan was going to Minnesota. That's why he called right after Tom Homan was getting deployed. He's so happy.
So happy.
And so am I. We have had such tremendous success in Washington, D.C., Memphis, Tennessee, and New Orleans, Louisiana, and virtually every other place that we have, quote, touched. And even everything we touch goes well.
The Midas touch of Trump, yeah.
And even in Minnesota, crime is way down. But both Governor Walz and I want to make it better. President Donald J. Trump. I did throw that clip in there. Were you able to grab the Carolyn Levitt clip here?
Yes,
She'll give us a little bit more insight into what exactly Trump is asking from Walz here. Let's see what she has to say.
In Minnesota. Number one, Governor Walz, Mayor Frey, and all Democrat leaders should turn over all criminal illegal aliens currently incarcerated in their prisons and jails to federal authorities, along with any illegal aliens with active warrants or known criminal histories for immediate deportation. Number two, state and local law enforcement must agree to turn over all illegal aliens who are arrested by local police. And then thirdly, local police must assist federal law enforcement in apprehending and detaining illegal aliens who are wanted for crimes, especially violent crimes. If Governor Walz and Mayor Frey implement these common sense cooperative measures that I will add have already been implemented in nearly every single other state across the country, Customs and Border Patrol will not be needed to support ICE on the ground in Minnesota. ICE and local law enforcement can peacefully work together, as they are effectively doing in so many other states and jurisdictions. Additionally, President Trump is calling on the United States Congress to immediately pass legislation ending sanctuary cities once and for all. American cities should be safe sanctuaries for law-abiding citizens only. not for dangerous illegal alien criminals who broke our nation's laws and do not belong here. We hope Governor Walz will do the right thing and continue to work with President Trump to keep the American people safe following their call this morning.
Wow, that's like the best PR Waltz has gotten in years.
Exactly. I mean, you see what's going on here.
They got him. They got footage on him.
Yeah, all of the, all the trouble he's already in is obviously finally seems to, let him know he needs to cooperate in one way. One thing that happened a couple days ago as well is Trump came out. I don't know if he signed the executive order or just announced the executive order that he was going to halt on February 1st. He was going to halt all federal funding to sanctuary cities. Yes. And so, again, you build that up with everything's going on. Suddenly, sanctuary cities are going to stop getting all the federal money. And, this list of things that Carolyn Leavitt is, said that Trump is requesting or requiring of Walz are all quite simple, right? And it's not even that crazy. It's, hey, the illegal aliens you have in your jails, let us deport them. Any illegal aliens that your local police apprehend for committing crimes, let us deport them. And then I forget what the third one, but it's basically, along the same lines. Or, local police just help protect ICE as they do their thing, which are all very simple, all very basic, nothing really crazy. However, absolutely embarrassing for Waltz to be seen as even cooperating with the federal government, going against everything he's ever said, against everything his little protest teams are doing, against everything his own organizing, even the very basic cooperating with just letting ICE do what they're doing is absolutely turning his back on the whole organized, resistance. So it's more than anything embarrassing to Tim Walz, but he's in such a sticky place, that it's. Do we think Tim Walz will actually go to jail or anything for what he's done with the fraud? Most people would say no, he's probably not going to do it, get really in trouble. But it's possible he's not really going to get in trouble, at least in this case, because he's cooperating or bending the knee on just the very basic level to save his own skin.
Right. Yeah, which exposes the sliminess of all politicians when it comes down to, the compromise. The White House just published this post, Basil, 1 minute, I guess 2 minutes ago now. Donald J. Trump. It's a screenshot of Donald Trump's post from Truth Social, and it says, I just had a very good telephone conversation with Mayor Jacob Frey of Minneapolis. Lots of progress is being made. Tom Homan will be meeting with him tomorrow in order to continue the discussion. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. Yeah, so you guys really got Homan strong-arming the situation there. So he's not coming with any fluff, right? He's coming with the facts. He's coming with the warrants, whatever it is.
Very serious guy.
And if you don't follow through, it's a yes. It's a very cold option, I'm sure, that is presented. Humiliation, a cancellation, the whole deal, or comply for the American people. I think it's going to be presented in a way that a deal they can't refuse. So
which is impressive. Again, mostly if this is really happening. If it actually goes through and something gets solved, very impressive. But even more impressive because he didn't have to deploy the Insurrection Act. Because it's that Insurrection Act that, at this point, conservatives are begging for it. I mean, people are getting upset at Trump for not calling the Insurrection Act. But if he's able to work through this in whatever weird backdoor way that he's getting it done without actually having to pull the Insurrection Act, that's best case scenario. And I have a feeling saying, letting people know, hey, I could do the Insurrection Act whenever I want. And also we have discombobulator weapons that can put this down, in a matter of minutes. probably has a lot of it. It's just like all the ammo, all the cards are in Trump's hand. And, it makes you wonder how far has this gone basically at the will of Trump, letting this go far enough to where they kind of back themselves in a corner or something. I mean, I don't know. We'll never really know exactly what's going on, but
yeah. But in terms of the public, the kayfabe, I mean, this is like the chaos magician doing his work. But it does, the threat of these discombobulators and all the directed energy weapons, now that it's out there and official, it does bring up the question of the Second Amendment. And I know the government distinguishes between, like a general public weapon type of thing and what what is considered like a federal weapon or something like that. There's like if I'm not mistaken, there's military arms and civilian arms type separation. But if the imbalance of that becomes too large, then philosophically, I feel like the people are going to start questioning, like, okay, well, great, we got bullets, but how are we supposed to compete against the discombobulator? We need to have our own discombobulators.
It's even
when
worse.
do we get that?
It's even worse than Biden saying we have F-18s and we'll nuke you.
Right.
Remember Biden said that? Like, well,
yes,
we have
I
nukes.
do remember.
Like,
and we made the point.
Citizens, like, very threatening, saying he'll nuke American cities if he has to. And we all know, of course, he's not going to do that. A president would never do that. Even if there was a civil war, even if there was a full-on militia uprising, the president would never nuke a city, which just is so perfect for the sort of angry old curmudgeon-y puppet man Biden. But the discombobulator, they'll use that in a second. It doesn't kill anyone. It doesn't destroy property. It's not even kinetic. There's not even really, I doubt there's even rules and laws about it. Well,
that's the problem, though. That's the
issue. But because then hearing the Venezuelan testimony about it, any lefty out there holding a rifle on a street corner saying, hey, we love 2A now, we're going to do it, we're going to stand up, and if anybody messes with us, we'll shoot ICE. Even those guys, if they have two brain cells to rub together, know that once the discombobulators come out, it doesn't matter how big your gun is.
It doesn't matter, yeah. No, it's truly like adopting swords, just as everybody else is moving on with guns. Like, all right, fine, let's arm ourselves with swords, while everyone else has the projectiles. But also, this, if it is proven that this was used, especially domestically, for any purpose, anywhere, crowd control or surveillance or whatever it might be, then it's not just a Second Amendment issue. It starts creeping into the Fourth and Fifth Amendment, the search and seizure, due process. Like, there's a whole bunch of stuff. It's almost like the releasing of these weapons is like it's a constitutional nightmare, Basil. I mean, I don't think people are thinking of it in that way right now, but I'm just projecting forward, looking into the future. I can see this becoming a real big issue, because truly the gap between the capabilities of an institution or a government when it comes to these weapons and the civilian, that gap is widening. I mean, it's always been pretty wide in my opinion, but at least there was the illusion of defending oneself in some small way by being able to carry weapons. But now if the weapons are unbalanced to a certain degree, I mean, what are the implications? I don't know if I have an answer to that, but what, robots? Like, what's going to be the
well, there's nothing to say. There's nothing to say that civilians can't have directed energy weapons either.
That's what I'm saying, though. Like, this is where things get very interesting. The true libertarian is eventually going to start looking like this is why the network states are going to happen. Like, you're going to have all these different people that have these militant camps. I'm not going to even say like a nation or a state or a city even. It'll just be like a camp. It'll be like the Old Testament days. You got your crew, you got your family, you got all your lineage, and you got all your cows and all your sheep and goats, and you got all the stuff, and you're all just traveling around together in a big big, I don't know, bundle or something. I mean, that's what we're gonna have. It's the Wild
I
West.
suppose. You mean if people get directed energy weapons? I
Yeah.
think the expense and the technology of them right now makes them pretty much impossible for people to get. I don't know. It's possible. Apparently, you could buy one for a couple $1 million on the dark web or something. But it's
According to Biden,
it's another example of how the conspiracy theorists were ahead for so long. Because how do you defend against directed energy weapons? Tinfoil hats. Okay, you strap on that tinfoil hat, you put your EMF protection medallion on your neck, and suddenly you are invincible to the discombobulator. I wonder if they've tested that. They must have tested that.
They must have. Just to wrap up the Tim Walz thing here, there was a clip going around, and we're a little skeptical about the exact sort of origin of this, but this is a clip from, I guess, inside what is it, the federal building in Minnesota or something.
I don't know if it's the federal building. I think it's the governor, like the Capitol building.
Oh, the Capitol. Okay, so here's a clip. I think she says it in the clip here.
This is Representative Pam Altendorf coming live at you from the Minnesota State Capitol. I am on the ground floor, and as I was leaving my committee meeting today here earlier, I noticed that there is a new display here at the state capitol, and it's for Governor Walz. It's right here on display. So let me see. I mean, I guess I can't flip my phone, but I'll see if I can show it to you. So this is what we have here, everyone. Let me read it to you. The Democratic Coalition of Satan Worshipers thanks Governor Tim Walz for not standing in the way of spreading Satanism in the state capitol building. Satan has a special place for you. That's right, everyone. So the Democratic Coalition of Satan Worshipers, they have given some sort of plaque here to Governor Tim Walz. So let me be the first, I guess, to congratulate Governor Tim Walz for this very special award that has come from the Satan Worshipers.
He's a Satanist.
Okay,
he's a Satanist.
So the plaque, she says plaque. I don't know, when you see it, it doesn't look like a metal casting like you would originally, you usually think of a plaque as like a metal casting. This looks, I don't know, maybe it's adhesive. It's some sort of printed graphic, but it does have the Baphomet there and the description. And I was thinking, okay, I don't know if this is real or not. Just some lady could have gone and stuck the sticker on or something. But this is, so she said her name is Pam Altendorf, who is a Republican in the House of Representatives since 2023. Altendorf represents District 20A in southeastern Minnesota, which includes the city of Red Wing, Lake City, Cannon Falls, and part of Dakota, Goodhue, and Wabasha counties. So she's an actual representative. But yeah, I just, the one thing that made me laugh the most was the Satan has a special place for you.
Yeah. I found some more footage. Basil. This is coming out of the This is This is posted by Pam Altendorf. So this is just her account again. And here, look, take a look. Take a look at
on a folding table. Weird.
The Democratic Coalition of Satan Worshipers thanks Governor Tim Walz for not standing in the way of spreading Satanism.
Okay, so she's just reading it again, but it's literally a piece of wood. Like, I don't even know what this is.
Sandwich board, like a wooden sandwich board about the size of like 2 sheets of printer paper leaning against each other on a plastic folding table in the
like one of those
building.
you put out at a swap meet.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know about this whole thing, man.
It's not a very expensive or sort of grand looking thing, so I don't know if it's real or not. It's funny though.
Like somebody, some troll put it there, and then this.
I wouldn't be surprised if it were real. But
yeah, you're right. I wouldn't be surprised either. But I mean, I wouldn't be surprised either way if it's literal or if it's a joke or something. And anytime you got Satan worshippers thanking Tim Walz in the Capitol building, I guess it draws the attention of lawmakers in there. So
they do that stuff a lot, though. They do like to have their presence known in government
that's
buildings.
true. That's true. I mean, they could have. Well, maybe they're just broke. Maybe the Satanists are all broke right now, and they're trying
That's
to
possible. Yeah,
recoup,
once USAID got shut down, their monuments
stream of
budget.
income.
Yeah,
their cash flow is disrupted. Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
One more thing to keep an eye on here, because as we speak, there is multiple funding bills going through Congress regarding keeping the government going. After the shutdown last year, they reached a deal to keep the government going through January 31st or 30th or whatever, 31st. And so they've been pushing through some funding deals. One of the funding bills, it's actually a collection of 5 or 6 different funding bills, and it includes an increase of funding for DHS, specifically for ICE. And let's see here. CBS News headline: Shutdown threat looms as Senate Democrats pledge to block funding after Minneapolis shooting. This might have something to do with everything we're seeing as well. The threat of a partial government shutdown looms large this week after Senate Democrats come out against a funding package in the wake of the deadly shooting of Minneapolis by federal agents, with just days until the deadline to fund the government. For weeks, lawmakers in both parties and across both chambers have been working to pass individual funding measures before government funding lapses on Friday, January 30th. 6 of the 12 appropriations bills have already cleared both chambers and been signed into law, and the Senate was expected this week to take up the remaining 6 funding measures, which passed the House earlier this month and were grouped together to secure swifter passage through the upper chamber. The remaining 6 bills, including funding for the Departments of Defense, Labor, Health, Human Services and Education, Transportation and Housing and Urban Development, State and Treasury and other related agencies, and crucially, funding for the Department of Homeland Security, which includes ICE and Border Patrol, is part of the 6-bill package. Now, the grouping of those funding measures is creating complications in the Senate after the fatal shooting of 37-year-old Alex Peretti by Border Patrol agents led a slew of Senate Democrats to oppose any funding package that includes DHS. Now, again, this already made it through one thing of the House and was expected to pass, but this fella, Alex Peretti, is being kind of seen as just justification to hold it up again. I don't know. Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, of course, announced Saturday the Democrats would not provide the necessary votes to advance the package to fund the remaining government agencies and programs if DHS funding is included. With 53 Republicans, Democrat support is necessary to reach a 60-vote threshold to advance the legislation. And then it goes into some other people's talks. But another threat from the Democrats of a government shutdown, just like last October. And I don't know. We'll see. It's possible that now, because half of those funding bills already went through, this would only be a partial government shutdown. But I think the shutdown would include ICE. Whether or not that actually halts operations, we saw that wasn't necessarily the case back in October. But they're trying to pull all the strings they possibly can to, I don't know, make a point or make a splash for the midterms or something. But so far, people aren't quite convinced that this shutdown is really something to be worried about, but it is out there. So pay attention. We'll know in a few days, I suppose.
Yeah. Well, I'm still waiting for the whole electrical grid to go down so Trump can go in and arrest all the pedophiles. I was told that this was going to happen about 10 years ago. And I was told that it would happen during the storm. The storm is here, right? Everyone's freezing. Everyone's inside. And, I was told that this was the moment, but I don't know. Maybe I was
misled. Be happening in the background. Who knows?
Maybe I was misled. All right, we got a couple more things here to cover, and then we'll scooch on out of here. This is a little climate change update.
Climate change.
Climate change.
We are in the beginning of a mass extinction. How dare you?
Geoengineering.
This is coming from the New Scientist, and the headline here: termination shock could make the cost of climate damage even higher. And the subtitle here of the article: solar geoengineering could halve the economic cost of climate change, but stopping it would cause temperatures to rebound sharply, leading to greater damage than unabated global warming. So it says here, solar energy could be more costly. Solar geoengineering could be more costly than unabated global warming if it is cut off suddenly, leading to a termination shock of rapidly rebounding temperatures. So what they're saying here is, okay, yeah, we've been doing geoengineering. It's like they're admitting, yeah. Okay, you guys got us. We've been doing this geoengineering thing for a while. So, but we can't turn it off though, because if you do, the termination shock will be worse than global warming, Basil. We cannot turn off the geoengineering that we said wasn't happening for 50 years.
It's like withdrawals. They'll say the
the withdrawal
Earth
effects
will
are
have
going to be so bad.
withdrawals.
Yes. It's like saying, yeah, look, we denied using heroin for 50 years, but you caught us, okay? We've been using the heroin,
but we can't stop.
Getting off the heroin. You know what happens when you get off the heroin.
That's funny.
I mean, it's crazy. It's we went from it's a conspiracy theory to we should not stop it. We really shouldn't quit because the termination shock would be astronomical. I mean, it's working, Basil.
They're trying to hold us hostage. The weather mod programs are trying to hold everybody hostage.
Yeah. So you can thank the whoever is behind all the geoengineering for the snowstorms because, hey, according to Al Gore in like the 1990s, America's supposed to be under like 20 feet of ocean water by now. Thank you, government. Thank you, Al Gore, for not moving us in that direction, preventing America from sinking. But also, now that we have crazy record-breaking ice storms across the country, maybe you overcorrected, and now all the people are waking up to the fact that we've been controlling the weather and trying to mess with it. And so, yes, admit that we have been doing that, but also we can't quit because if we do, then we lose everything we've built for the last 50 years. All the geoengineering we've done for 50 years will go out the window if we suddenly stop it. We can't just stop it. So anyway, I just thought it was funny that the narrative crafters are changing tactics after everybody knows now that the weather mod tech is real and affecting all of our lives. I did see they're amidst all of the alien disclosure talk and directed energy weapon disclosure talk. There's more and more discussion about the weather control part of it. I'm seeing a lot of the snow doesn't melt type of content on the timeline from all the people trapped inside from the snow. Yeah, people are getting chunks of snow and then trying to light it on fire and it doesn't light up and the whole deal. So yeah, I think people are it'll be like the next big conspiracy everyone learns about because the directed energy weapons was kind of like, it's hard to quantify it. It's like, yeah, there's some documents if you really dig, of course, but it's hard for the general public to really grasp what's going on. So an event like Venezuela is a perfect opportunity to really get your normie to kind of look at the type of technology that our military might be deploying for the last couple decades. Similarly, the weather thing, until we have like a big weather event or something that's tangible for the people, it's not going to really hit, I don't think, in terms of like the disclosure side of it. So I guess we got to pay attention to all that. But I don't know. Any other thoughts on the termination shock of they're so addicted to the drug of climate change and geoengineering that they cannot stop, Basil. That'll be more destructive to stop.
Part of me wonders if this is them saying we can't stop, we have to keep doing it, or if they're trying to play it like, since there's so much attention and now so much legislation on weather mod and so much resistance against weather mod, that they're kind of trying to save face and pretend that they're not going to start doing it. Like, okay, all right, look, we think it's a good idea. We are going to do it, because they say that they're not doing it, right? So it could be a reason for them to stop do it, or quote unquote not start, but also save face by saying, no, it would work. It would just work too well, but we'll hold off because we don't want to have any side effects or withdrawals or something. Either way, it's pretty hilarious.
Oh, I didn't know solar geoengineering was the protector of Earth's weather. little revealing there. Okay, one more quick thing here.
Are you ready to become cyborg?
There's some footage going viral, Basil. I'm just going to play it for those of you just listening. We'll try to describe what's going on here. Allegedly, in a casino in China, a woman was caught using some advanced technology. And they're grabbing this lady's head. They're trying to pull open her eyelids. And they pull out these contact lenses, Basil. And he drops it on the table there. Allegedly, these are some high-tech contact lenses that were communicating with some, I don't know, home base, HQ, doing some mathematics on her behalf.
I mean, this is old school. We were covering these contact lenses back in 2015, 2016, something like that. That claimed to have all sorts of different powers, but it was about 10 years ago. They said it had telescopic, abilities. You could see as far as a hawk, and there were these contact lenses that kind of had some spiraling electronics on the inside. And yeah, allegedly this one, so it's a Chinese gal at from what's being reported, an illegal mahjong gambling ring. And it's pretty gnarly. They grab her face, they open her eyes like with their bare hands and pull out their contacts. Allegedly it's an illegal mahjong gambling ring, and they are kind of I guess exposing themselves. But yeah, apparently she had these contact lenses that were, of course, looking at the mahjong board and then either sending it to an AI or sending it to someone off site, who is then like analyzing the mahjong board to tell her what to do next to, win. I don't really know how gambling and mahjong works, but if you're going to use high-tech transhuman eyeball computers, I guess starting with the underground gangster mahjong gambling ring is the place to go before you go straight to Vegas. I want to know how somebody caught that.
I don't know. There must be something.
Like, I want to see an up close in her eyes. Like, can you see like computer circuits in her eyes or something? They look like they're colored. Like they're trying to like hide, the circuits or whatever. She looks pretty bummed though. I bet she is pretty confident. She's looking pretty bummed. I wonder if she made like $1 million on this already, and that's why they got suspicious.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, that's like best case scenario. It's just somebody being, trying to scam the casino. Worst case scenario, this is like some U.S. spy that's in some Chinese gambling ring for intelligence purposes, and she just got caught. But the release of the video is interesting too. Like, where did this video come from? Who's releasing the video? That'll determine sort of where.
It'd be kind of weird if the mahjong gangsters were releasing.
Well, they see Trump exposing all the corruption. They want to jump on the bandwagon. They're trying to take advantage of the moment right now, and all criminal enterprises. The anti-corruption narrative. So all corrupt institutions across the world, legal, illegal, it doesn't matter. They're jumping on that PR bandwagon, and as long as you expose corruption, you're in the good, according to the public. So
I'm looking here. It looks like maybe gold and silver may have just taken a little tumble.
Little dumpy dump. Yeah, I noticed that. Yeah, look at that. Little resistance on the silver chart there. What did it reach? It went up to 117. for silver, and it's been pulling back the last couple hours. So,
Had to stop at some point.
I had to say it was insane. It was an insane amount of pumpage. So it makes sense that they would have
Pull
a
up
little bit of
gold,
price.
see
It
what
needs to
gold
take.
is.
I'm pulling up gold right now. Oh yeah, look at that.
Yeah.
It's still above 5,000.
Jeez,
It's going to
Louise.
test that $5,000 mark. I mean, it went past 5,000 and went up to 5,110 or something. I mean, it's skyrocketed over $100. I think it added the market cap of Bitcoin like over the last week or something.
Well,
It's
the good
just crazy,
timing.
the amount of money.
I got Jim Cramer tweeted. Oh, this was 11
Sell all
hours
your
ago.
silver. Yeah, no, he told everyone to sell silver right now.
Says,
Yeah.
I am a huge gold bug, but I am not a silver bug. If there were no sentimental value to it, I would try to cash in on my family silver. Is getting ridiculous, huh?
No, that's that.
I
I mean,
don't
that doesn't
know.
sound like an op. That don't listen to Kramer of all things. Although I think they framed him as right about some things the last couple times. So maybe that's the juke. You know, you got to let him hit a couple of them so people think the reverse Kramer is reversing, and then you get enough people on the other side of that trade, and then slam. You know, you get him again.
Oh, you know what?
Juke
I
out,
wonder
you know?
if it has to do with Japan. The
Japan's
Japanese prime
situation is
minister,
bad.
who is she's a kind of the Trump of Japan. She dissolved parliament a couple days ago, and it had something
There's
to do
rumors.
with the Japanese interest rates.
Yes, the rumor is that the United States is going to intervene to basically save the yen, in a sense. I mean, just to summarize it very, I don't know, like flippantly. I don't necessarily think we want to get into all of it, but yeah, they're selling their treasury bonds or something, and to mitigate the collapse on both the U.S. side and Japan. I think the rumors are that the Fed might step in. New York Times headline on the story: Tremors in Japan prompt Treasury to weigh currency intervention. New York Fed inquires about the cost of exchanging yen for dollars. Signaled to traders on Friday that the U.S. government might make a large purchase of the Japanese currency. So it's just stock buybacks. Buy it back, you know, create some liquidity, make sure the scam just keeps going. And that's the problem, right? Like the scam keeps going. To stop the scam, you have to collapse everything. And I think that's where the wealthy money, they're moving into gold and silver, because they're like, okay, well, if we're going to do this big switcheroo on everything, it's going to shake things up quite a bit. So better to go into some universal assets like gold and silver while we still can.
Yen all the way, baby. Yen all the way.
Yen all the way. You know what hasn't crashed and is still on the rise is Lockheed Martin, baby. It's making its move.
Look at that go. Look at him go.
Look at him go back to all-time highs, about to break all-time highs again. Lockheed Martin, great military industrial complex partner there.
Well,
and yeah.
More importantly for us, Gons, we're going to need to check in on the value for value index, of course.
Thank goodness.
Number one way to get insights into what's going on in the real economy is the value for value index. And that's why we are on the value for value model, folks. It's very simple. You'll notice we don't take any money from corporations, commies, cartels, no advertisements, no platform partnerships, no nothing. We are entirely sustained by producers of the show, and those producers are you. And it's not just about the price of gold or the price of silver. It is the value that listeners like you bring to the show, because you recognize, hey, it's very rare for a show to not bend the knee to the global theology of advertising, to let loose the hounds of war of psychological manipulation and grand social engineering experiments. That is the, again, global theology of advertising that keeps everyone tied together, keeps them all collected into the same hive mind by monetizing your consciousness. That's what advertising is, but we don't do it here because we got more of an eternal outlook on things, and the idea of selling the time, attention, and trust of our dear producers goes against really every spiritual principle that we have on the show. And so far it's worked. The value for value model relies on value coming in from you, dear listener. If you've got any value from this show, if you plan to get any more value from this show, you can put some value back in. It's required. It's the only way we're going to survive. We all got to take some responsibility for that. You can put some value back in with your time, your talent, or your treasure. All right. It's not all about money, but if you got time on your hands, if you are an artist or a musician or have any talent to give to the Canarium, you can do that as well. But if all else fails, you can support us financially. Of course, that's obviously very important in keeping something going like this. You can learn all about it at canarycry.support. Well, the value for value index has dropped this month, Gons. We had a nice solid start, but with world events being such as they are, we can tell what's really going on by the value for value index. I will say I'm very thankful. We are very thankful and very proud of all of our monthly producers who come in, support the show with whatever amount makes sense to them. Okay. It is just a commitment and a pledge to not only keep getting value from the show, but putting value back in. And you can do that in whatever amount you want. Okay. There's no, that's the value for value model, runs off of exactly where the Lord has you, exactly the resources that he's given you, and exactly what he's put on your heart to participate in, whether it's $1, whether it's $5 or $33.33, be a part of one of our programs like the Canary Cry Supply Drop or the Canary Cry T-Shirt Council, whatever it is. We thank you very much. It's the only thing that lets us wake up in the morning on a day that has very few producers and look ahead and say, okay, we can make it till next episode. So God bless you, monthly producers. But also we have our executive producers. God bless them as well. The executive producers are those who come in, they support the show for $100 or more for any individual episode, and they often are keeping us alive on life support. So I want to thank our first executive producer, the one, the only, Sir Alex Protocol, V2 Baron of the Breen Protocol. Coming in for $100 and 33 cents this episode. Thank you very much. He's on a 457 episode streak and a 111 episode executive producer streak.
100 executive streak. 11.
Look at that.
Woo! Thank you very much.
Math jingle.
Incredible.
100 plus 11.
Thank you very much, Sir Alex Protocol. Next up, we've got executive producer Andy W, and they sign off Andy, then in parentheticals says girl W. So we've got girl Andy W coming in. Executive producer Andy Girl W. Appreciate that.
Was it girl Andy or Andy girl?
It's an Andy that is a girl.
I see.
Okay. That's the story, and I'm sticking to it.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you, Andy.
Yeah,
appreciate you.
Comes in for 129.67. And a note here. Oh, sorry, 120. Here we go. I'm going to read this note. Demooching here with my first donation. We've got a demooching, Gons. We're very excited about that. Remember, if you know, you got to let us know. Let us know if it's a demooching. It's the only way we know. We don't have records of this. So thank you, Andy. Let's demooch you.
You've been
And demooching with an executive producership, always an honorable way to do it. Thank you very much. January, we should do like a January demooching drive or something. You know, you start out the year correct.
January. We're almost done with January.
We definitely missed this January, but maybe next time. You know, January is a good year to get demooched, or a good month to get demooched. The note continues. Demooching here with my first donation. It's my birthday today, January 26th.
Hey, where you go?
Happy birthday to
Happy birthday, Andy.
Happy birthday, Andy Girl W. So birthday was 1/26/1967, hence the amount 12667.
There you go.
Grateful.
It all makes sense.
Grateful for all of your splendid work, and it's on my radar to plan a meetup here in downtown Los Angeles soon. There we go.
Here we go.
Let's meet up. Peace and blessings, Andy W. Thank you very much, Andy.
Thank you, Andy W. In the heart of the dystopia there, Los Angeles.
If anywhere needs a meetup, it's downtown Los Angeles. So keep us posted on that. And of course, anybody can go check out canarycrysupplydrop.com. We got meetups going on, and it's a perfect time to put on your own meetup as well. While we're at it, let's go check canarycrymeetups.com.
Okay, we got Canary Crime meetups. We got 2 meetups on the docket here. Was there a third one that I don't know if we got a graphic? Maybe there was an inquiry.
No, we have a couple people playing with the idea, but they have not sent us anything yet.
So we got North Glen, Colorado meetup happening on February 28th, Saturday,
Denver
3
area.
p.m. For the Coloradians. We also, much sooner than that, February 7th, Canary Crime meetup in Louisville, Kentucky. That's coming up in what, a couple weeks? About 2 weeks? Yep. So both of the contact infos, RSVP, emails, phone numbers are all at canarycrymeetups.com.
Go check it out.
Yep.
Okay, we got a producer who came in under the executive producer amount. We're going to thank them very much. Producer Simon D came in. Signed up for a monthly recurring producership of $51.99 or $49.22 minus fees. So I'm not sure which one it is, but
either way, that is amazing. Thank you.
Yes. Thank
Simon
you very
D.
much, Simon D, helping us out on the monthly basis there. God bless you. And of course, we've got CageRattlerCoffee.com coming in.
Rattler Coffee. Oh no. I have the show burps.
Cage Rattler Coffee, where value for value never tasted so good.
That's right. Go to CageRattlerCoffee.com, folks, because Canarians got together. They put their heads together, put their skills together. They're getting organic coffee beans from all over the world. They are roasting them in small batches with love and truth and making them available to Canarians, whoever wants them. I'm told every day of my life that this is the best coffee available. I also have it every day. I love it. It's my favorite. I just got my updated box of Cage Rattler coffee guns. Thank you for that.
Good. All right. Great.
And you go to CageRattlerCoffee.com. You can use for a couple more days here until the end of January. Use the bonus, what a bonus, discount code New Year to get 10% off there. They got their subscription Coffee of the Month Club. They got beans from all over the place, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Ethiopia. It's quite the collection there. You can get your NEPHILIM dark roast, your Emu Wrangler medium roast. Don't miss it. And the best part is, not only are you supporting other Canarians and their families, which is we're continuing to try to build the parallel economy here. Don't send your money to the big corporations that hate everything that you love and hold dear, but instead we can support each other, and a portion of every sale comes to support the show too. So that's not killing a bunch of birds with one stone, but you're giving life to a bunch of canaries with one purchase, with one bean. All right, CageRattlerCoffee.com. Go check it out. Yep. And that's it for today. Short list of producers, but thank you very much. Another day in which the monthly producers are keeping us alive. And of course, big ol' shout out to our executive producers. We had our under $7.77 producers come in. We're going to thank them on Wednesday for staying on their streaks there. We did have a piece of art come in, Gons.
Yes, we did. It's from Sir Darren. He gave us a note with it too. It says, if Jesus says my kingdom is not of this world, then why are we fighting for it? God once told his people, bring your necks under the yoke of the king of Babylon and live. That wasn't endorsement of evil, but submission to God's will. Later, Jesus tells us, "Take my yoke upon you, for my yoke is easy and my burden is light." The question for our generation isn't whether we will carry a yoke of submission, but which one. We can live like the world, driven by fear of our enemies and rebellion against the beast system, or we can humble ourselves before the Lord and pray for those who persecute us.
Amen.
Good. Yeah.
And he has a 2-cell little, I guess, comic strip
Side by
or
side,
theme here,
yeah.
side by side. And in the image, you'll see a very dystopian, dark, shadowy dystopia in a city, cameras everywhere, glowing red, a billboard with a big eyeball that says obey, stay in line, submit. You've got robo-cops patrolling the streets, and you've got 2 gentlemen who are just making it by, surviving in the dystopia. And the left cell says, fear says, and one of the fellas says, we sure owned the libs, lol. And faith says in the next cell, Lord, give us strength to endure and keep us faithful to you. With the 2 fellas praying right there in the midst of the dystopia there. Very good message. Always something we're trying to remember here, that we are given not only an eternal perspective, but access to things that are beyond this world, and constantly reminding ourselves not to get wrapped up in what the world wants to keep us focused on. In this case, owning the libs. But of course, Lord, give us strength. Thank you very much, Sir Darren Knight of the Hungry Panda.
I'm sorry. The gold is pumping back up. Basil is coming back just now. It just pumped right back up.
Whoa, it's a roller
Coming
coaster.
right back up to $5,033.
Do not yoke yourself to the price of gold, everyone.
Yes. It is priceless.
Yeah, they are really pushing
with us, man. They're really
talking about the US dollar index is down today. Crashing. Okay. Natural gas prices are up 40% on the day. Oh no. So
the chaos ensues.
The chaos. Okay, thank you very much, Sir Darren, Knight of the Hungry Panda. Hey, if you're an artist or you want to make something, AI is welcome these days. Or if you got kiddos, hand them the crayons. Make something for the show. Go to canarycry.art to upload it there. We'd love to feature your art on the show. An important way to an important way to participate in creating the culture here. Appreciate it very much.
Yep, absolutely.
You got anything else, Gons?
One thing to mention on the support page, if you scroll down to the address for the snail mail, it is an updated. I need to refresh this page. The PO box number is updated. Had to update that a little bit.
We had to update the PO box.
Yeah, so the people that are sending snail mail, go double check that. Make sure you got the right box number before you send it out.
And
please.
Some people don't. Yes, if you want the correct address, always go to canarycry.support and check the address there. If you're seeing address, we've had a number of addresses over the years, and some people will see it on an email or see it somewhere else. Don't rely on that. Always go to canarycry.support to find the current PO box.
Yep.
Absolutely. Okay. Well, with that, let's thank some of our producers who help us out with their time and get on scooting here.
Okay.
So everybody can enjoy their Monday. I want to thank, who are we thanking? Oh, let's thank Timestamper. Let's do that.
Timestamp, it's hard work. Timestamp.
Yes.
Right. Big shout out to producer Jade Bouncerson, who helps us out with timestamp. God bless you. Very important. Often an overlooked part of what goes into so much of our back-end processes, but extremely important. And Jade Bouncerson is an extremely important person. Nobody forget that. Of course, thank you to Jam for heading up the Telegram channel. Thank you to Adam42 for heading up the Discord channel. Heard some great things about the Telegram channel and the Discord channel recently. If you want to join those communities, which I suggest you do, go to canarycry.party and you will see links to join both of those channels. Thank you to Joe for all your feedback. Thank you to Clank for being the scribe of the Canarium. And of course, Sir Ike for keeping so much of what happens here alive in so many different ways. I do want to give a shout out to everybody on the text message alert system. So go on, take out your phone, open up the text messages, and text the word canary, just the word canary, to 877-740-3226. And you'll simply start getting a little text message from me before every show starts. So you'll never miss a show. Don't rely on notifications from your apps. They don't like us. They're not gonna tell you we got going. But the fun part is you can text that number back and I read them. I love them. Sometimes I read them on the show. Let's see here. 406 just texted and says, my normie friend sent me photos of loops in the sky last week. She's going down the rabbit trail now and asking a ton of questions. There you go. The normies are waking up. Thank you for that. 612. Oh, says, have a great show. It's the real Tim P. Thank you very much, the real Tim P, for coming in. There was another, I think we had a prayer request here. Here it is. 304 sends a prayer request. You want to hit the producer?
Yes, sorry. Here you go.
Producers, assemble!
All right, producers, remember, spiritually producing the show is maybe the most important thing you can do. So everybody drop what you're doing and say a little prayer for 304, who says, my friends, my community in Wayne, WV. Where's WV?
WV, West Virginia.
Oh, that's probably it. Yeah. My community in Wayne, West Virginia needs prayers. We are dealing with a water crisis caused from an oil contamination in our town's municipal water system. This is huge and not being covered correctly. Goodness gracious. Okay, everybody, put it on your list. Wayne, West Virginia is having a real Aaron Brockovich situation over here. I'm gonna look. Let's see if there's any reporting on this. Wayne, West Virginia water. Let's see. 6 days ago, the West Virginia Department of Environmental Protection posted on it. Some local channels. Let's see here. 2 days ago from WSAZ3, Wayne remains without water for a week after oil spill caused by vandalism. Vandalism, you say? That's kind of suspicious.
Yeah.
I don't want to get too riled up about it, but when I see vandalism, that's what they called
usually,
2 years ago when some people were shooting at electrical transformers, and they called that vandalism, when some other people think it may be something besides vandalism, could even reach the level of terrorism. We know that targeting infrastructure like water supply, electricity, would be a primary vector by which some unsavory forces would want to cause trouble for the country. It says here, authorities say that a vandalism incident on Tuesday, January 13th, caused approximately 4,900 gallons of oil to leak from a transformer. Okay, probably shooting at another transformer. Looks like we've got another shooting at electrical stations.
The Appalachian Powers Eastland substation.
Yeah, into the areas of Wright Fork, Camp Creek, and Camp Creek towards 12 Pole Creek in Wayne County. Okay, very specific places here. I'm going to open up this vandalism report. Wayne residents still... That is a loud advertisement that they played on that thing. Okay,
yeah. I'm glad everyone can hear the weird sounds that it makes for me when stuff pops off.
You hear that? That was so loud.
Yeah, they're just like popping and stuff bleeding through. And
the vandalism hyperlink just takes you to another thing of the same story. Wayne residents still without clean water after vandalism. Okay, sounds like it's almost the exact same story of what they described as like good old boys drinking beers and shooting at power substations. Seems like they're
just so happens to disrupt the entire water supply of the town.
Yeah. Okay. Do not consume order for a week. I didn't know this until I saw recently a video. These transformers at these substations, they're like the big oil lip barrel thing that you often see at like the top of power poles or at these substations. It actually is an oil barrel. It's filled with oil in that thing. And I saw some videos of people breaking them open and stealing the oil. I don't know what the oil would be good for, but yeah. All right. Well, we're praying for you, Wayne, West Virginia. Hopefully it's not something more diabolical, but unfortunately you never quite know. So there we go. Producers are praying for that. Let's see here. Last but not least, we have MMS. Millennial Mustard Seed is here. What up, my dudes? Got 2 feet of snow and ice here in Southeast Pennsylvania. Of course, praying for everybody affected by the storms. Great to hear from you, Millennial Mustard Seed. And there you go, folks. This is why you text the word Canary to 877-740-3226. And whatever's going on, you let us know. Okay. Other than that, share the show, friends. Share it with your friends. Share it with your family. Share it with anybody you see meandering, loitering around power substations or water filtration systems. Let them know they got to listen to Canary Crime News Talk, because that's where the real stuff is happening. You can share it however you want. We do call it rattling cages, and all you got to do is walk right up to them, grab them by the cage, and then you shake it.
The end of the world occurred pretty much as we had predicted.
I want to shake things up, stir up some controversy, rattle a few cages. Stop that! You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man, a crusader for the little guy. Leave the bird alone. Never. Rattle a few cages. Rattle a few cages.
The human race will have every opportunity to improve.
And if they don't?
Ask Noah.
Yeah, that's right. Just ask Noah. Guns, you got any last words?
Make sure to eat chocolate cake tomorrow, because tomorrow is Chocolate Cake Day. It is also the anniversary of Antarctica being discovered, 1820. We're talking about 205-year anniversary of Antarctica being discovered, I guess, officially in the West or something. Also, 1948, Smith-Mund Act signed. And in 1975, creation of the Church Committee approved. A lot of stuff going on. And then we'll be back Wednesday on Data Privacy Day.
Oh, that's good.
There you go.
That's good. There you go, folks. Well, I think that's it. Yeah. Do all the things that we said, and stay sane out there. We're staying focused. We'll see you on Wednesday. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in to this episode of Canary Crime News Talk. Make sure to tune in next time. But until then, think outside the cage.
I'll keep you warm and safe in my people's zoo.
I love the Great Reset. Give me a break. Give me a break.
Remember, reality is an illusion. The universe is a hologram. Buy gold. Buy!
Give me a break.
Give me a break.
Give me a break. Give me a break.
Break.
Give me a break.
Give me a break.
It's like you got the Neuralink upgrade or something, right?
Sure is. Sounds, I feel like a SoundCloud rapper now. Changing the intro music has historically been the most traumatizing possible thing we can do to people.
People get really upset. People get really upset. People get really upset.
I mean, I'm not going to make a big long thing about it, but getting like traumatizing, specifically, kind of other ways to produce trauma.
They love killing.
And above all things, effort and charity among yourselves. For charity shall cover the multitude of sins.
He's a Satanist from one of the Satanist churches here where they sacrifice babies.
He's got the solutions for the problems that he created. Just step right up for the great reset. For the great reset. Hiding in the shadows, he's always behind the scenes. He's pulling on the purse string. He's got control of everything. He's got the solutions to the problems that he created. So step right up for the great reset. For the great reset. He serves his master with fervor. He's a Luciferian. He's bound up and determined to bring us to an end. It's the final solution. Destroy the human race. So we'll cry up to the great reset. To the great reset. For the great reset. There's only one way out through the door, but you'll need the code. 10, 5, 19, 21, 19. Or you can step right up for the great reset. For the great reset. For the great reset. For the great reset.
I love the Great Reset. I love the Great Reset.
Let's invite some dudes over and fellowship tonight.
Circle back, but I'll have to circle back. Circle back, but I'll have to circle back. Circle back, but I'll have to circle back. I'm happy to circle back. I'll have to just circle back with you. We can circle back on that one. Circle back with you. It's an interesting question, but we'll circle back.
Value for value. We take no money from corporations, commies, or cartels.
Canary cry.